Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So welcome to another market open and market stream. And today I'll be talking about Bitcoin. No surprise, but there are big moves coming up. This is an absolutely huge week for many reasons. And I do believe Bitcoin is going to have some big moves. And I'm going to explain why. All right. Let's do it. Welcome, guys. As you can see, we're opening up right now, right around $67,000. That's not too bad. Actually, that's pretty good. Even last night, when I was filming my Sunday walk video, it was around 66.4. It dropped down to 66, and now we're back to 67,000. So why do I think there are big moves this week? Well, let me explain. First of all, in the US, there are a lot of economic stuff, macro stuff happening, okay? We got some big economic data, and you can see jobless claims will be a big one. FOMC minutes will be a big one, even though Powell already stated basically, he's going to continue the course and not do a whole lot of changes. There's always like little details people pick out of it for some reason. So that could affect things. New home sales, consumer sentiment, durable goods order. These are all pretty important data. And we kind of went backwards a little bit, like 2 or 3 years ago, where we're in like a bizarro land, and bad economic data could actually be good because that signals that Powell's more likely to cut rates sooner than later. So actually we may see that kind of situation because most likely we know the economy is slowing down. So orders like, goods ordered and sentiment are probably going to be down. Manufacturing is probably going to be down. Jobless claims may be going upwards. And we may actually see rallies after we hear about them. That's the funny thing. So it's kind of like back in like 2021, 2022, and to some extent in 2023, we kind of had that going on where actually good economic data actually crashed the market, which is why we're in a bizarro world. So a lot of economic data coming out this week. And just take a look at this. I've always said this. There's zero reason why you should have this many speakers speak in a single week. I mean, that's a crazy amount. Are they? And they're repeating. That's why. It's like they're talking twice or 3 times. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, some of these people are speaking 3 times in a single week. There is no reason why, zero reason why that anyone is speaking besides Powell. That's the only man that matters. Anyways, but hopefully a lot of these guys are very, very hawkish. They're not like Powell at all. And they keep insisting like we need higher rates for longer. We can't rule out a rate hike. Things that Powell are not saying. But somehow they continue to say it. Trying to stay relevant, they need to all just keep their mouths shut. But anyways, we got a lot of people talking, and the markets sometimes react to what they're saying. And of course, we have a whole lot of earnings this week. Everyone is looking at Nvidia specifically. Are they going to blow out of water once again with crazy earnings, crazy revenue, crazy profits, and maybe. I wouldn't doubt it. They are the only company probably out there, well, besides like maybe MicroStrategy, that I would not have bet against right now. I mean, Nvidia is too hot, and there's no competitors right now. That's the thing. Now, why that relates is because, of course, Nvidia is leading the AI space, and I think a lot of crypto companies in the AI space will get a boom if you see Nvidia have another fantastic earnings. Okay, so get ready for that as well. So as you can see, this week we have a lot of stuff happening. Okay, we got earnings, we have Fed speakers, and we have a whole lot of economic data that could all sway markets one way or another. But as for Bitcoin itself, there are many people that think that after we break through 67.5, and we were just there actually not too long ago. I think we actually hit it a day ago. But there are people that are eyeing certain levels and believe that, hey, afterwards, we are going to not only break our previous high, but head to a next leg up, which could be around $80,000, $90,000. And this analyst thinks that, hey, this could spark a new high because if you're looking at the futures data, and more specifically, where people are going to get liquidated, if Bitcoin breaks 66.5 and continues higher, you will have hundreds of millions of dollars of shorts liquidated. And that is going to cause a short squeeze and will drive Bitcoin even higher, right? But right now, you can definitely see there are a lot. Okay, this actually surprised me. There are actually a lot more short leverage right now at this point in time than long leverage. Okay, and the higher we go, there will be more and more and more short squeezes, and no one will shed a tear because everyone hates shorters. Okay, if you don't believe in Bitcoin, sell out, but why short Bitcoin? But it's actually surprising. There are a lot more people shorting Bitcoin at this point than longing Bitcoin. And that is not the right way to do it. And if they all get wrecked and liquidated, like I said, no one will care. So that's a big reason why, as we move higher, and if we actually do move all the way to 70,000 and 73,000, our previous high, it will absolutely wreck every single shorter out there because most of that volume seems like it's right between now and 70,000, which means we can fly past and head to 73 and form a next leg up after all these shorts are gone, right? Another one, I mean, if you're looking at another technical chart, I mean, it's basically showing that we are going higher. Okay, it's hard to read, but yeah, we had our dip. We are getting ready to go higher. And if we close above a certain level, in this case, this person thinks 65.4 for this week, we are going to go higher. Yeah. Who doesn't want to go higher? Also, another thing to look at this week, and I mentioned this in my Sunday walk video, which is pretty obvious, but the ETFs. The ETFs are now accumulating once again massively. As you can see, after having so many good weeks, then we started having some outflows, which is no good, led by Grayscale. Week 14, 15, 16, 17 looked like it was a growing trend. Then week 18, we flipped. Week 19, which was last week, absolutely fantastic, added over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Will we see the same thing this week? I think so. There's nothing stopping it. There's nothing stopping the ETFs from accumulating more Bitcoin as more and more FOMO builds. Okay, that's the major reason. I mean, when you have $1 billion+ of Bitcoin being bought and being put into these ETFs, taken out of circulation, that's going to drive prices higher. It's really hard to counter that. Is there any entity out there that could sell hundreds of millions per day or even $1 billion a week? The answer is very, very, very little entities out there can do that, right? So this is a big reason why. And you may be thinking, well, why is everyone FOMO into Bitcoin ETFs? Well, besides the obvious, because of inflation and all the government shenanigans, that's driving a whole lot of people, funds, even private company, public companies, pensions, family offices. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Even banks, some of the major banks have bought. But if you look at if you discount everything else, if you just look at it from a performance standpoint, and I've always said this, nothing ever outperforms Bitcoin long term. So if you look at just, hey, even if you didn't believe in Bitcoin, you didn't believe it was the best hedge against inflation, just look at the performance. Okay, if you were looking to buy an ETF and you're like, okay, well, where should I put my money into? Should I just buy something that encompasses all of the S&P 500, which traditionally speaking isn't bad. Sometimes the S&P 500 does very well within a single year, right? And you can see on the top, you got a lot of ones covering S&P 500. You got some that's covering NASDAQ 100 or Russell 1000 or mid cap, small cap, international. I mean, there are a ton of ETFs you could put your money into. But do they compare to the performance of Bitcoin ETFs? The answer is no. So again, when you're going to invest in something, generally speaking, you bet on the fastest horse in the race, right? Especially in a bull market, which we know for Bitcoin it is. And for this year, a lot of people know it's a presidential election year. It's going to be good. So, I mean, S&P 500 hasn't done bad. 12% year-to-date performance, that's not bad. But compared to the Bitcoin ETFs at 44%, it trails by 4x. Bitcoin has outperformed it by 400%. And what about precious metals? What about gold and silver, right? A little bit better. Look at gold shares, gold trust, silver. You know, they're okay, 15%. But again, compared to 44%, yeah, it just trails. And here's another thing I didn't talk about real quick. But if you look at assets that these funds hold, some of these guys, you know, they're holding crazy amount, right? You look at assets versus how much the Bitcoin ones have, so little. So that means the amount of money out there, just even if like a 10% of the liquidity came out of the other funds and went to Bitcoin ETFs, that would already drive another, what, 5, 10, 15, 20 billion, I can't even do the math, into Bitcoin. I mean, that's just a small amount. And the funny thing is, you know, I hate to nitpick or pick on some of the other precious metal, but I saw today on X, one of the major categories is precious metals soared to new heights. Okay, driven by a combination of factors, including anticipated U.S. interest rate cuts, geopolitical tension, increased demand from central banks and consumers. Gold hit a new high of $24.50 per ounce, and silver climbs to a level not seen since 2011, right? Which is probably the reason why the gold and silver ETFs have done well year to date. But compared to Bitcoin, no. And here's another chart of gold. And gold has broken out. 2450, you could see. It was stuck around 20,000. Oh, no, not 20,000. 2050 for a long time. And it was also around 1900 back in 2011, 2012. So, yeah, it has broken a new high. But if you look at the performance since 2011 till now, that's 13 years to go from basically 1900 to 2500. 13 years. So gold is not a good asset to hold if you want gains. That's the bottom line. You want to hold the fastest horse in the race, and that is Bitcoin. Quite simply, that's it. What else is there? Let's see. Amount of Bitcoin being held by addresses over 1,000 has increased by 250,000. No. Okay. That would have been crazy. No. Addresses that hold at least 1,000 Bitcoin increase their holdings by 250,000 Bitcoin. What does this mean? That means the whales are purchasing. They're buying a lot of Bitcoin right now. Okay. That's no surprise. That's no surprise. We know everyone is accumulating right now, except this is a surprise. Now, even with Bitcoin's rally last week, the small Bitcoin holders actually sold a good amount of their Bitcoin from their portfolio. Now, why would retail do that? Okay, I mean, it could be that some of them sold because they want to buy alts. That could be a reason. Or they got scared. They got scared from a prior dip before and they're taking profits. I don't know. But I do know that the ETFs are increasing. The whales are increasing. But unfortunately, this shows that last week, retail decided to sell. And that sucks. That should not be. And hopefully you guys are not among the retail investors that are selling, because it just makes no sense to do so right now. Bitcoin has broken out of this falling wedge pattern, so that is a pretty good sign. And also, lastly, I'll just say this about Bitcoin. Again, we have not done anything really unusual this cycle, besides maybe moving a little bit faster. But again, every cycle is the same thing. Bear market, accumulation, and then bull, right? I would argue we are in the bull cycle already, the parabolic cycle. But hey, when in doubt, zoom out and you realize that, hey, we're doing just fine. And not only are we doing just fine, we should all strap on and get ready for the big moves ahead. So, quite simple. All right, outside of Bitcoin, what else is there? A couple of important news, I think. Coinbase now gives an estimate that 30 to 40% chance that we will get a spot Ethereum ETF by the end of the month. End of the month, not even end of the year. That's pretty high chance, 30 to 40%. That's way higher than I would give it. If I was going to give it a percentage, I would say 5%. I don't think there's any reason why Gary would give an Ethereum ETF at this point, right? He's still trying to make a case to say that Ethereum is a security. I think that 5% chance is being, I don't know, actually maybe overstated or over-exaggerated. It's probably a 0% chance. So I don't know why Coinbase thinks so. Maybe they have some inside information I don't know about. But I just don't see that. I mean, they're about to serve. I mean, they're in a lawsuit with Consensus, and they're suing, or they're about to serve, like some like Uniswap. I just don't see how they're going to do this. But you know what? If it happens, it will be absolutely huge. And Ethereum will probably pump and pump and pump some more. So we will see if that happens. Solana is still doing very well over the weekend. Started moving upwards in terms of the fees generated. They are the third biggest, right behind Ethereum. And that is impressive because Solana is like 100 or 1,000 times cheaper than Ethereum and is almost generating just as much volume. Revenue. That means their volume is absolutely insane at this point. What else is there? UK judge calls Craig Wright a liar and says that he is not Satoshi Nakamoto, so he can no longer claim that he is in any lawsuits in the future while being in the UK. So that is pretty outstanding. And then, and what is it? Phantom Wallet now ranks the third most downloaded app in the App Store, which again is awesome. And that is crazy because you would figure it's like MetaMask, but it's not. It's Phantom. And Phantom is the primary wallet for Solana. So that kind of goes to show you that people that are FOMOing right now and that are really into DeFi, more specifically, they're all looking at Solana. Because MetaMask does not support Solana. So if you want to do anything on Solana, you're going with Phantom. And for them to have, to have even more downloads at this point than MetaMask is absolutely crazy. But it makes sense. All right. Let's do some Q&A. $176. Looking pretty good. All right, let's see. Let me scroll up. Let's see what I missed. Solana banana. If you're not bullish, I don't know what to tell you. Alex, good morning. SGE says, I married Ada ETH. Should I change in BTC or wait? I don't know. Can't. For me, I'll just say this. I'd much rather hold BTC than ADA or ETH. And you could see it too. If you look at like the ETH dominance versus Bitcoin or the ADA dominance versus Bitcoin, they have been losing to Bitcoin for quite some time. And I don't know if it's going to turn around anytime soon. Until we get to altcoin season, they may be lagging Bitcoin for quite some time. P.dollar, I appreciate that. Let's see. Biggie Shorty says, I was so angry when I publicly sold my soul and then it boomed a week later. That normally happens. I knew Punk would start to smoke Myro. Good for you. Someone else just asked me about that this morning, this weekend. I never got into Punk, but those that made a lot of money with it, congrats. Locksky, thanks for all the love and dedication. You're welcome, and thank you. Check out MAGA on E. Went to 4 to 40 million in 3 days. Don't need to check it. I already know what it's about. I think it's just a copy of the one from Soul. That's why. And people just love, to get involved with political memes. Malvin is asking, can you turn 100K into a mil this bull cycle? I honestly think you can, because I honestly think 10x in a parabolic bull market is doable. It certainly was doable back in 2021. And it was doable back in 2017, 2018. But back then, it was kind of like a Wild West. In 2021, it was less of a Wild West, but we saw so many do a 10x, 20x, a 40x, whatever, within a short amount of time. It can happen this cycle too. Camry K5. I mean, the Kia and Hyundai cars, when compared to Toyota, let's say, is more exciting, more thrilling, better looking, but as for dependability, just not there. And resale value, not there. Especially resale value. So that's why like something like the Camry, which actually there was actually a really great review just posted on Drivers Only. That's why Camry is still king for like a mid-size sedan. Shuri Corn, do you like the meme coin Turbo? I have nothing against it, but I'm not for it. Just never got into it. I know it's AI generated, but it's doing well. 79 million. I mean, that's really hard to hold, so. But I'm just neutral on it. Evan, appreciate that. What happens if BTC keeps getting rejected at 67K? Nothing. And it won't keep getting rejected. Christian says, hi from Netherlands. Hello, thank you for being here. F-150 or Silverado? I don't review a lot of Silverados, but when it comes to trucks, Ford is king. You know, F-150, there's a reason why it's the number one selling truck for like 40 years straight. Um, there's a really good reason for that. So I'd go with the F-150. Cock is going to blow up like crazy once it gets more publicity. Well, that's one of the reasons why I invited them to fight in the IFC. And it's going to happen during consensus. So Cock versus Sneck, I think that's going to be a good battle. Plus, it's going to gain a lot of popularity for both projects. Hopefully, they take advantage of it because there will be a lot of press attention during one of the biggest crypto conferences there is. So hopefully, both take advantage and really do some marketing there. Ronald, new sub from New York. Awesome. Glad that you're here. I'm really glad that the Nuggets lost yesterday. It was a really good game. I watched the second half. Jokic seemed like he was completely drained, out of breath, no energy, but he still put in some huge buckets down the road. But I was so impressed with the Timberwolves. They all came through at the last minute. Every single person was rolling. It almost seemed like they didn't even know it was Game 7, and they pulled it out, and it was a great game. But I'm really glad Nuggets lost. I'm really glad that Wolves won. I think Wolves, if they're playing like that, they're going to beat the Mavs. They're going to be in the finals. Riley, yes. CryptosRUs, I was looking at Ferrari 360. I'm surprised how cheap they are. They're not that cheap. They're actually a lot more expensive than when I bought mine like years ago. I got my 360. I got a 2001. It was like 20,000 miles, and then I got it for like 55K at the time. I ended up selling it for 73K. Now I think they're like more like 80s and 90s. But they were really cheap back then. Before pre-COVID, most of the Ferraris were really cheap. You could have got a 458 for like 125K. Now you can't get that anymore. Evan Belfour, FET and Render AI Week. I think if you're going to play off of if you're going to speculate on the NVIDIA earnings, FET and Render will be good plays. Yes. Rupert says, George is old. He likes F-150. He wants something different and new and an attention getter. Get his Tesla Cyberbeast so that it could depreciate half in like 2 years and cut fingers off and break. You're like the only person that's supporting the Cybertruck, man. Every single person is so against it. Today's the last day for me to pick it up. Tesla has threatened that if I don't pick it up today, they're gonna give out my truck to someone else. Chris, you need to give it up on the bell, man. It's been like what, a year? No, 4 months, 5 months without the bell. Yeah, I don't plan on bringing it back ever. Got in top of the cycle. George kept us afloat. I appreciate that. Broke my heart seeing the Nuggets lose. I did not shed a tear. They knocked out my Lakers, so I'm glad it happened. Richard, I can't answer you how you should distribute $100,000. I'm not your financial advisor. Start watching more, pay attention, and formulate your own thesis on what you should buy. So I guess we're gonna expect a Cybertruck video tonight then. Yeah, I don't think I have to schedule it. I don't even if I did choose to buy, I don't think I'm picking it up today. But I can't get myself to do it. I have nowhere to park it anyways. Pizza was hey George, was your first million the hardest to make? Yes. Yes. Um it took 3 years. It took 39 years before I made my first million. So I know everyone wants to make, become a millionaire in their 20s and enjoy their life, but it doesn't always work out like that. It's much easier to invest when you are younger without a lot of responsibilities like supporting a home or cars or family. So yeah, it is definitely easier to do it when you're younger, but it could still be done when you're older. Can you sell your truck to someone else, maybe make a profit? It's not even worth it. There's like six in my area, and the lowest one being sold is at 130. So if I pick mine up, it'll be 102 plus taxes, so it'll probably be like 110-ish. So, and the 131 is not selling, so I doubt you make any money. I will unsub if you get a Cybertruck. Please don't make me do it. I may have to do it just to see if you would do that. Jalen Brunson is a beast. Imagine if he wasn't traded from the Mavs. I mean, it's like Harden before he left OKC. You knew he had talent, but then he became a beast afterward. Jalen Brunson, he was a good role player on the Mavs, and then he turned into a star when he went to Knicks. Crypto surge. A lot of people have done reviews on their Cybertrucks. It's not a new thing anymore. Unfortunately, too many people have it now. Urus or Rolls Royce Cullinan? Depends on what you want. There's a lot more Urus than Cullinan, so if you can afford it, get a Rolls. 458 or 488. I'd much rather go with the 458 because the last natural aspirated V8 in a Ferrari. RAV10, they look nice, but they do not hold their value. So I'd much rather get a Ferrari 458. What? I didn't even check the U.S. market today. Mostly in the green. Michael Sonnensen steps down. No surprise. No surprise at all. And it's really Barry Shilbert. Barry Shilbert, I mean, he messed up. And Michael messed up. They all messed up. Red Lobster files for bankruptcy. That sucks. Hopefully they stay around. Nasdaq is having a good day. Alexis, how do you see the Nvidia earnings affecting the market this week? I think it's going to be great for tech. Nvidia, I think I would not bet against Nvidia, no matter what at this point. Nvidia is going to have another spectacular quarter. It's going to pull up a lot of the tech sectors this week, and the tech sectors, or AI sectors, I should say, in the crypto space. I think that's going to happen. Boston, man, I totally forgot about Boston. I can't stand Boston. I think Celtics versus the Wolves will be a good. It'll be a good. Yeah. Do I want the Knicks or the Celtics to make it? I guess I'd rather see the Celtics make it. I think Celtics and Wolves, that'll be a good series. I would root for the Wolves, although I think Celtics may have the edge. Celtics have too much firepower, I would think. But I'll say Naz Reid. I didn't know who he was until yesterday. But he played spectacular. Like, Naz Reid is an awesome six-man. Love Bug, will you sell your soul for BDC? Eventually. Not right now, though. Not right now. Come to El Salvador. Not on my places to visit right now. There are a lot more places I want to visit. More specifically in Asia. A lot of places in Asia I have not gone to. Oh, the Knicks get knocked out already? I'm sorry. Sorry, I've not been paying that series. Pay attention to that series. Really? They got knocked out by the Pacers? There's like no one on the Pacers. Well, Pacers have no chance against Boston. Zero chance. So it's for sure Celtics making the finals. It'll probably be Celtics. Yeah, Celtics and Wolves. I don't think Mavs have a chance against Wolves either. Flux has partnered with NVIDIA. What's your price prediction? I don't buy those kind of partnerships. They're light partnerships, if any. They're just like more for PR reasons. But I do think Flux has good potential. Bronson broke his hand and missed half the game. Yeah, he was having a historic playoff series. And then I didn't know about the injury, and then he got knocked out. I just didn't pay attention. I don't pay attention to the East. Like, I really don't care about any of the teams on the East. Tokyo is great. Yeah, I would love to visit Tokyo, Singapore, Thailand. All the great places, even parts of China. Would love to visit it. There are a lot of places. South Korea. I haven't been to South Korea. Not sure I want to visit South Korea, but yeah. Opinion about Matic, and would you trade it for Jupiter? That's a good question. Um, I would at this point. I think Jupiter is only get stronger because of Solana, and Matic right now, Polygon they just seem like they can't catch a break, um, and there's not a whole lot going on. In fact, all the stuff I hear going on are actually more negative than positive. Bronny might be a first rounder because teams want to sign his dad, but yeah, of course, that's obvious. Um, but from what I hear from like his early games, he's not doing that well, and he's much shorter than people realize. He was listed as 6'4". He's really 6'1.5". He's like Derrick Rose height, maybe even shorter. Derrick Rose was listed as 6'4", but he was more like 6'1", 6'2". So he's like Derrick Rose height, which doesn't mean much. I mean, he can still play really well, but usually very athletic guards that are more like scorers than leaders. They get injured and they have a very short lifespan. And LeBron can only play for so long. Eventually, he just goes say, "Screw it." LeBron could probably average 20 forever, but at some point, he just goes say, "Screw it." You know, like I play with my son, it's fine. I don't have anything else to play for. I'm just gonna retire. That's what's probably gonna happen in the next 2 years. Ryan, can you give me your take on Turbo? Is it a good buy? For me, I wouldn't buy it. I think it's already too high, 80 million, and there are a lot more new ones out there. Tokyo is great, but if people seem cold towards me, it's my fault. Well, if you know it's your fault, then why are you complaining about it? Ron Paul, what's your all-time starting five? Magic, Kobe, Jordan, LeBron, Shaq. I'm not old enough to include Kareem, Dr. J, Russell, etc. See, for me too, maybe I'm a little bit younger than you. Like, I'm not old enough to say Magic or even Bird because I didn't ever watch them. And I watched Magic when he was like, toward the very end. So I didn't see how good he was. But I would not put Magic. I would probably put I'd probably put a lot of people just go with Steph, which is not a bad choice, but he can't play D. So I don't know what I put. I don't know what I would select for a point guard. All right, I'd probably put LeBron at point guard. I'll put LeBron at point guard, even though he's not. I can't think of a really good point guard that could play D right now off the top of my head for some reason. Um, something like LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, and then put Duncan and Shaq. Um, Shaq in his prime. No one's beating that team. No one. Rondo, no, he's not good enough to be like all time. I never watched Jerry West play, so I can't say. I can't think of really good point guards that could play both offense and D. Maybe that's why everyone says Magic because he has size. Um, Penny Hardaway, but his lifetime was too short. Tim Duncan is very underrated. He was just too quiet, but Tim Duncan, when he was playing, he was unstoppable. No one could stop him. Even Shaq, everyone tried it. They couldn't. I remember the battles between him and KG were epic. Jason Kidd? Tony Parker, no. No. I hated Tony Parker. Steve Nash is like, yeah, he couldn't play any D. John Stockton, maybe. Allen Iverson, no, he's more like a shooting guard. Why is this so hard to think of really good point guards? Gary Payton? He's not all-time great. He's not, I mean, he's good, but not all-time great. Chris Paul, too short to play D. Like, it has to be someone like more like, you know, it has to be like someone that's like 6'3", 6'4" plus. I don't know. All right, enough, I guess, basketball chat. Hakeem was very underrated. Yeah, Hakeem was more like 6'9", 6'9", 6'10", but during his years, during his championship years, he was unstoppable. Not even Shaq could stop him. Duncan is very underrated. He's the Litecoin of the NBA. No, he's not. Stop trying to plug Litecoin. Kyrie won my Cavs a champ. Well, he did hit a big shot, but 99% of it was due to LeBron, not due to Kyrie. Trae Young, Penny Hardaway, Larry Bird, Dominique Wilkins, and Shaq. I'm sorry, man. I mean, that team is not beating my team, no matter what. Man, I don't know why the NBA doesn't implement one-on-ones. Like during an All-Star game, since no one cares about any of the contests at All-Star game besides maybe the three-point contest, they should implement like a one-on-one tournament. Like think about how great it would have been to see some of these big guys play, like Duncan versus Hakeem or something, or Hakeem versus Shaq back in the day. Like today, like in a one-on-one tournament, think about Embiid versus Jokic, or you know, any of these guys, Brunson versus, I don't know, Kyrie or something. I would pay good money to see a lot of these one-on-ones if they took it seriously. I think the NBA should really think about having a one-on-one tournament. It would be nuts. All right, guys. To conclude, big moves ahead. Bitcoin is around 67,000. We got a lot of great movements. If we can break through some of these previous resistance, like 67.5, we'll have massive amount of short squeezes coming. And the ETFs are still buying, and there's nothing better than Bitcoin. So, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.